I say it every week, but happy Friday Eve. I'm much less exhausted than last week. If you were here with me last week, whew, I was tired. But I am drinking coffee. A little bit of coffee will help. It does have a little bit of pumpkin spice. Hi, Amber. Does have a little bit of pumpkin spice. I did not get to go to Starbucks today. I wanted to because I'm one of those. I'm not a pumpkin spice latte girl, but I am a pumpkin spice cold foam, cold brew girl. I didn't get one. So a little pumpkin spice syrup in my coffee. Um, it's very exciting. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. So this week's an interesting topic, right? It's kind of getting as we're waiting for everyone to come on, I'll kind of talk through my thought process and how things are. And I did set in stone the episodes going forward. So I can kind of talk through it as we're waiting for everyone to jump on. I like to give a few minutes because I know y'all have busy days. It's nighttime. I don't know about y'all, but my kids went back to school yesterday, which was, let's be clear, a blessing. But also, I know schedules are wonky for everybody. But yeah, for those of you that don't know me, and I'll probably reintroduce myself in a second again when more people jump on, but my name is Laura Vega. I am the Director of Agency Development at the host agency World Via and the travel group World Via. I have been in travel for in the teens of years. And I've seen all different sides of travel. I've been an agent myself. I own my own agency. I worked on the the wholesaler space as a business development manager and later ran the business development team for that company. And now have ended in the agency development space. So I've seen all the sides. I've seen your side. I've seen the supplier side. I've had my own agency and had the struggles you all had. And something that's really important to me is making sure you understand how to grow yourself in your business. I think we learn a lot about suppliers. We learn a lot about new products. We learn about, but we don't always learn about how to grow ourselves. So I wanted to present this free opportunity. This is available to anybody in travel. You do not have to be a part of my host. If you're a part of my host, you're welcome. All are welcome. And please feel share it with all your travel friends. But so far, what we've gone through habits and we went through goals. Actually, we started with goals, but setting your goals. If you haven't seen that, and I do this every week as I start to talk through this, I just want to share my Facebook group in here for this specific session. So if you are unfamiliar, you can join the group and all past episodes will be posted in here. And you can watch the old episodes as well as if there was like books I recommended, I popped those in there. Let me just pop the Facebook group in here really quickly. Control V. So I just want to see something too with the chat because I think no, everybody said to everybody. Okay, fabulous. So if you click on the link, you can get added to the Facebook group. I approve everybody coming in. I also have my lovely one of our marketing managers, Andrea, in there helping me approving and as well as posting some things. So if you see some messages from Andrea, it's just because she's helping me out. Because as much as I wish I could do this all the time, I do have a day job. So I'm trying to, I have to do both. But anyways, so far we've done goals and then goals went into habits. So you building that big goal, getting your like pebbles or your dirty work in place to get to your big goal. You have to set habits in place. We talked about habits. We also talked about navigating change. And because change, when you're starting to set goals and habits, those things can really come into play and affect your habits are going to look a little bit different. So that was an attempt to make sure that you're, understanding how to get out of those spaces once you get into them and navigate into a better place with it. And then we got into, oh my goodness, fostering a growth mindset, which is one of my favorite topics. And it was for yourself. And if you have a whole agency for, your employees or ICs that you work with and how to apply that with your ICs or employees. And then I know I'm talking so long here, and then last week, we talked about expansion and how to grow your business. That was a really cool one because it's, it ties into what we're going to talk about tonight and going forward, and everything going forward will kind of tie into that and how you can grow your business to be more profitable. So tonight, we're going to get into unlocking your profit potential and understanding your key drivers. So we're going to talk about what your drivers are, how to evaluate it, how to adapt a bit, and to make sure that growing your business makes sense and to do it in a way that is easy for you and for your employees or your ICs, or if it's just you. These sessions are directed at agency owners of all levels. It doesn't matter if experience or wanting to grow your business. That's what this is for. It's all about elevating wherever your agency is at in its current iteration. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, I think, because it's 5 after, and I want to be mindful of everyone's time. If you have any questions as we're going through, please pop them into the chat. The chat is open, or in the Q&A. I like to keep it open. I keep it open the whole time, so I'll answer your questions live. Also, if you pop it in the Q&A, that might take me a minute because I don't have that popped up like I do the chat. But please interact. It makes it so much more fun for me and so much more interesting. But I will go through this and also stay on at the end for any questions. But I'm going to go ahead and pop the presentation up really quickly. But how is everybody doing today? Everybody having a good week? Are we done with the week? Are we ready to get moving on? I like to do these on a Thursday night because I like the idea of it's the end of the week, right? So like you take tonight and you think about this, and then you have tomorrow to kind of let it sit in your brain, and then you can start fresh for Monday with new ideas. Was the thought behind it. If y'all are really liking these and you want to keep coming and you think these times don't work, I'd love to hear what time would work better. I'm totally open to it, but we seem to be liking these like Thursday night dinner time. If you're East Coast, if you're in a different area, it might be slightly different, but all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this presentation up there. Sorry, I got excited and then I start talking. And also, I like sharing my screen because good. I'm glad to hear this week's been good, Amber. Listen, last week, I always make the joke, like they make the joke about it's not my joke, but like the Mercury's in the retrograde, they say Mercury's in the microwave. I felt it real that Mercury was in the microwave. It was a tough week, but I'm happy this week. So, okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. I also share the slide and myself. I hope you don't mind that. I'm a very animated speaker, and I think I like for you guys to see what I'm talking about as I'm doing it. You probably caught some odd screen there as that popped up. There we go. Beautiful. All right, let me know if y'all can see me or see the presentation, and I'll go ahead and get started. So let's talk about drivers and profit drivers, and just really finding ways to make sure you're making the most out of your business. It's very common in this industry to get a lot of motivation early, whether you started with Disney or you started with all inclusives or whatever it may be that you started with, that you just were on a great trajectory. You're moving forward, but you're kind of stuck in that pace because that's what you know, and that's where you kept going with. And you don't know what's on left or right of you. You've got those blinders on, right? But you're doing so great in your space, but can you be doing more? Where could you be doing more? Is it with what you're currently booking? Can you like pivot a little bit and be doing something that's similar to what you're currently doing, will benefit your clients all in all, and is an easy transition for you to be making more money, right? Because at the end of the day, we all, it's so funny. Like I said, my kids started school this week, and my niece happened to be here today. And I said, oh, what do you want to be when you're older? And she's very like, I want to make money. So I want to be a dentist. I want to be a lawyer. And I was like, girl, it's also important to like what you do. So, and I'm very passionate about travel. I love travel and I like what I do. And that makes it very helpful. But I would be lying if I also don't like to make money like I do. It's what gets us through. So you have to be making sure that you're always, putting yourself in the position to be doing the best you can, making the most money you can. And so that not only is this enjoyable, it's worth it, right? Because that's what's really important. So let's get into it. First, understanding your levers, right? What is your driver? What are they? So it's in this again, I just put this quote in here, but it's not just about keeping your business afloat, but it's about transforming into a thriving, growth-oriented powerhouse. That is my whole goal, from setting your big goal to creating those steps to get to that goal and changing your habits to get into it. A big part of that is knowing what makes sense for your business to take your steps for growth. Okay. So what are your profit drivers? Do you know what they are? Let's talk about what profit drivers could be first. Let's take it back a step, and have you ever taken that moment to look at it, right? So the actual, quote unquote definition is they're critical elements for activities that significantly impact your bottom line. Okay. So these are the things that you know are going to make money. Now, it's not just the unique value proposition. We're going to get into that in a second. That's on that slide, but it's the things that you know without a doubt, this is what's bringing in the cash for you. It's whether it's a specific product, whether it's something that you know that you do that's different. It's what is going to bring in, and you could have multiple, and you should. You really shouldn't be relying, in my opinion, on one source of income for the profitability to be coming through. You should have it coming from different sources, and it can be done in different ways. So one of the first ones I want to talk about is just your unique value propositions, or your, these are different for each agency depending on who you are, but it's, what you're crafting for vacation. So I have personalized travel experiences. We should all be doing that, right? But what makes yours unique? What are you doing differently to set yourself apart from the agency down the road, from the girl you know on Facebook who's also selling beach vacations, right? There's something you're doing differently. Whatever that is, whether it's you're including baggage tags with every trip, it's you're making sure there's a gift at property when they get there every time. It's you make sure that you make reservations for them at restaurants where they're going. Whatever those are, those little things that make you different and set you apart, I hope you're making money with them. That's also important. But and I let me backtrack that for a second too. When I say like, oh, you're including luggage tags, you're probably like, Laura, how am I going to make money if I'm spending money putting luggage tags? Because the experience you're creating for them is going to create a repeat customer, and a repeat customer is going to give you that extra profit. We'll get into repeat customers in a bit. I didn't make a slide for it, but I did want to talk about it a bit, about how they really are a profit driver. But just making sure you're creating personalized travel experiences is going to be a profit driver, just because you're taking the time to make yourself set apart, and it's going to bring back customers on a consistent basis. Also, just exceptional customer service. I know this seems like a no-brainer. We should all be kind to our customers, but I can't tell you how many times I've heard, I don't know if any of y'all went to Asta Global this year, or actually they call it the Asta Travel Advisor Convention, I think now. It was in Texas, and Venus Williams spoke. Venus Williams, the famous tennis player. And do you know, she got on that stage and she said, I was working with a travel advisor and they ghosted me. Everyone in the room went, what? Because I'm a big advocate for ASTA. I think it's a great organization. And everyone in that room, I think, is, they're trying to grow their business. And everyone's like, I can't believe that happened. And she's like, I know I feel bad even saying it to y'all, but really it happened. But she's such a pro travel advisor person. But not everybody's giving great experiences. So making sure you are giving top-notch customer service is so incredibly important. And what I mean by that, I don't mean that your cell phone has to be readily available to all of them at all times. I think you need your time, your space, and you need a good work-life balance. But what I mean is that you take the extra steps. So you don't just book the hotel for them. You figure out the car services they might need, or the transportations in between ports that they might need. You take the extra step to know in a certain area where it might be easier for them to get a pre or post hotel. It's just the little things, the extra things. You take that extra minute to study a destination, to understand where they're booking, also understanding your customer here. So if you know you have a finicky customer, and you know from past experience that a certain hotel near a cruise port is not for them, but it's cheaper, explaining to them, saying, hey, I understand you're trying to save a few dollars here, but know that this is not your style hotel. I can't tell you how many times when I was an agent myself that I had those conversations, and they were so easily flipped because they knew I cared and I was listening, that I made those changes for them. And then it's also just adding things that they may not have thought to add, right? This might be making sure they get the photo package when they go to Disney for the first time. That seems simple, but it might be the simple making sure they get a lay in the airport when they get to Hawaii. Like I can't tell you, and I've been to Hawaii, and I have been there where I didn't get the lay, and I was like, why is everybody else getting pretty necklaces? And I got one in my hotel, but I didn't get one in the airport. I was my own travel agent though, so my bad. But I'm just saying, like, those are the things to think about, like making exceptional experiences for your customers. and operational efficiencies. So what I mean by this is there's a lot of things you can be doing within your current operations within your business that make the customer experience easier for them and for you. There's a lot of things that this could be, but for example, an easy credit card system, credit card agreement system for your customers. Nothing frustrates a customer more than when they had to add extra steps to what they're doing. So you taking some time to research a CRM that has the capability for you to be able to charge easily for your customers, or at least store that credit card information securely, is incredibly important. So like things like that, or even just efficiencies on making sure you're sending out timely emails to your client. Now, I know adding an extra email to your day might be a lot, but certain CRM services have like plug and play emails. They go out on certain days and you don't have to think about it. So, 2 weeks before travel, they're going to get a reminder email to find their passport, things like that. So it's just like little operational efficiencies that you can fix for yourself, or even just making sure it's easy to get a hold of you. Sometimes we get really lost in worrying about how we have the right phone numbers, the right emails, and things like that. But sometimes just having a clear line of communication with your clients so they understand when they can get a hold of you and what the best way to do during those hours are, because they don't need you all the time. They just want to know that what the way is to get a hold of you if they needed to. I've always said that when people are stressed, they can't read. So especially if they're away and something happens, just making sure that your operational systems make sense to them is incredibly important. This is all pretty basic stuff, but I just wanted to talk through it a bit. Now, what other profit drivers are there, right? So suppliers, are you using the correct suppliers to be giving you the correct commission? I think we all get stuck in habits. I worked for a very large supplier for a very long time. I spoke to many of you in conversations about this. Sometimes you just do it because it's what you know. You've never taken the minute to know if they're paying better commission, if they have a bonus commission that you could be taking advantage of, if they're when their commission pays, what their commission pays out on. Sometimes we get so just caught in the day-to-day and, oh, I can't think to look. You could be losing out on hundreds of dollars a booking, depending on who you're booking certain properties with. Because it's a difference of 10% commission to 16% commission. Are you utilizing all the commissions that your consortium offers to you because of being a part of that consortium? Are you part of a consortium or any kind of organization that increases your commissions, right? That's something to think about. Sometimes people want to be independent, and I get it. You've earned your business. You are welcome to that space for yourself, but will it benefit you to join somewhere where you're getting that extra commission? Because if you're booking a talc trip for your clients, 1% commission is a big deal compared to when you're booking without it. Or when you get into 2, 3, 4% commission, forget it. Also, different perks that they offer, right? Are certain suppliers giving, airfare and perks to things to your clients that they're going to be excited about, that's going to want them to book more, right? Are they offering discounts on certain excursions that are going to add to your commission on the back end? And also, is just in general for profitability, are there perks for you that are kickback? So many of the supplier partners out there give cash payouts. So many of them offer perks that you can use for travel for yourself. So many of them offer, discounted rates. Are you putting the money into the suppliers that are supporting you? Because I find so often, and even with agents I work with on the daily and agents I just have personal relationships, we all get stuck in convenience. And sometimes we have to step out of our comfort zones and get a little uncomfortable to make sure you're making the right amount of money, to make sure you're serving yourself correctly to be doing well in this industry. So then getting kind of into upselling, cross-selling, switch selling, right? So upselling is pretty self-explanatory, right? That's, if they're in a standard room, why aren't you selling them in an upgraded room? I think we've gotten away from that in the last few years. I know when earlier on in my career, it was the beginning of the online travel agency, and people were coming with printouts from Expedia, and I would lose my mind. I was in a storefront, and I would lose my mind. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And it was really hard to sell value back then. We've gone away from that, but it's really important that, yes, people are on a budget, but consistently, people will pay about 20% higher than, I'm sorry, 10% higher than their budget. 20% is a different statistic for later, but 10% higher than whatever their budget is. So that means if they tell you, hard stop, my budget's $3,000, you're going to be okay if you're closer to 33, if you sell them the value. You can't just say, well, this one's 33. Sorry. You have to explain to them, hey, this one's $3,300, but this one you're going to be looking at the beach every morning when you're waking up. You're gonna be able to eat your breakfast on the balcony and see the sunrise. Where the other one, you're gonna be watching the cleaners come back and forth with their carts to the rooms. What experience do you want to have on this trip? Are you selling the value? This one is, we're talking about European hotels and just the size of the rooms. This one's going to give you this much more room and bed space for your family. This one makes more sense. You're going to be more comfortable sleeping. Or upselling in the sense of they want to stay at a certain hotel, they thought it should be here, but being closer to the Champs-Élysées or a more opportune area in Paris makes more sense. This hotel in Crete makes more sense. Whatever the situation may be, you are the expert here. You're the professional. And so often, I always make this joke with my friends and family. I have never seen a career more than in travel where everyone that talks to me think they know more about travel than I do. Every single one. And it's something you just have to learn to take with a grain of salt and go, okay, this is what this is. But everyone thinks they know more until you take a minute and go, okay, let's talk through this. Does this actually make sense? And sometimes the upsell, when you're explaining the value to them, makes so much more sense. And then there's cross selling, right? So, and that's kind of getting into like, does this hotel actually make sense for them? And because people, the way advertisements work, it's so easy for people to get stuck in whatever they see out there or whatever someone talked about on Facebook, but it might not be the right product for your client. So make sure that's a big part of it. And then, of course, there's add-ons. I missed this with upselling. You can always add on, of course, excursions and experiences for your client. Some different resorts and cruise lines will pay on spa, things like that. And of course, a huge one is travel insurance because the margin on travel insurance is incredibly high. And if you're not selling travel insurance to your clients, what are you doing? It is usually a fairly reasonable. And I know, of course, many are age banded and it's a little bit higher, but if you're not selling insurance, those are the clients, and I can't tell you how many horror stories I've heard. I can't know how many personal stories that I've experienced. It is a nightmare to need to have medical assistance out of this country. Everyone thinks their credit card covers it. Everyone thinks it doesn't. I promise you, it doesn't. So I'm just sell insurance. There's so many fabulous companies to do with it, and we never know what's going to happen. If the last few years didn't teach us that, please. But I also want to talk about like cross-selling or switch selling, and you'll see I listed higher commission products there. So there's two things here. One is if the product makes more sense for the client, right? You want to know your clients inside and out and be able to switch it over. But there's also so many hotel partners and so many, or I should say wholesaler partners and different supplier partners that offer 21% commission on certain months on certain products or 22% commission, whatever. There's so many options to move them to a different property that they're probably going to have a better experience at too if you know that property well enough. That saying the right things to the client to make them understand why it would be a good switch is going to make you a significant amount of more money. It's crazy. Make sure you're paying attention to those emails that come from supplier partners that tell you where the high commissions are. So that way, when you're having your conversations with your clients, if they don't know they're going in, come right in with where you're going to be better at it. If you know it's a property in the Caribbean side, and oh, they probably would have liked this one, but they have no preconceived notions, sell them the one you're going to make more on. And it's probably, and of course, make sure it's a better product too, but sell them the good product and make more money for yourself. Why are you making it harder to make money asking them what, if they don't even know and go, just think of yourself in these moments. Sometimes it's so easy to flip that switch. And a lot of times, especially when it's like brand focus that they just happen to see it on TV, it doesn't mean it's a better product. It's just more visible. Whereas you can show them and explain to them why the other one's the better value, and you're going to make more money in the long run. And then I also just kind of bring up in the sense, it's very easy, like we get stuck in habits for clients to get stuck in habits. So, FIT is a perfect example, and I put some other ones in there too. But clients that are booking FIT trips, everyone thinks they want to be the adventurer in Europe. Everyone thinks they want to go from Prague to Scotland to here to there. And one that's an incredibly intensive work environment for you, all the stops and everything you have to put into it, or whatever suppliers you have to call to build that itinerary for. It's not super profitable. And if you book it already, you know that. There's small commission rates. It's not really where you want it to be. And it's a lot of stress for you because there's a lot of connecting parts. An easy pivot or cross sell or switch sell for an FIT is a river cruise. The work involved, yes. And I know immediately everyone's going to go, oh, well, the cost difference. Not all of them are a major cost difference, especially on depending on what you're booking for your clients. All the excursions that they would be adding in after anyways are included on many of the river cruises. And the commission is insanely higher on a river cruise. FIT bookings tend to have a lower commission rate because you're booking individual hotels, you're booking not with a specific wholesaler, but you might be booking in it, but they can't pay the full commissions on every hotel, where it's a straight commission rate on a river cruise. Selling the value of a river cruise to a client is going to benefit you tenfold in comparison to an FIT booking. We looked at the commissions even within our own organization earlier today, and a typical FIT booking for us, it was an offhanded itinerary, was about $900, and a same typical average river cruise was about $2,300. And a river cruise booking is much less work, and you're making a whole lot more money. Another one, theme parks, right? We know we have our theme park lovers. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm a theme park lover. I'm going to one in 2 weeks. But there's an easy switch sell for theme park lovers because at this point, theme parks are a luxury priced vacation. They're not necessarily always a luxury trip, but the price point on a theme park vacation is an easy switch sell to an all-inclusive because one, they like when everything's involved. That's why a lot of them want it all picked and choose and put in there for them. They like quality hotel, and it's just eventually, and not all, you're going to burn out a bit. People want a break. So don't get me wrong, there's going to be the theme park lovers, that's all they want to do. But an easy sell is to say, hey, why don't you go here? This one is a water park at it. Your kids are going to love it. You're going to love the beach. You're going to have all your meals included. And it's probably going to be less expensive than depending on what theme park trip they're looking at. And we all know theme park commissions are nowhere near what an all-inclusive commission can look like. And you're doing much less work. You're not making any dining reservations. You're not worried about theme park hours. You're not worried about times you're just sending them to an all-inclusive and they're gonna have a wonderful time. And then there's just beach breaks. So people that are currently going to all-inclusives or just a standard trip, an easy off sell to them is of course really any cruising, but also any exotic beach trip, because people don't think about selling beach trips they forget about, the European beaches, or they forget about the Maldives and all the incredible, the Fijis, Tahiti's. And I know there's a bigger price point with that. I'm not lost on that, but also think of small ship cruises for them. So if people love like a calm beach break, but they don't want to be boxed in on the mega cruise ships, because that can be overwhelming for people. It's not always their vibe, right? Put them on a small ship river cruise and like a Regent. And now I'm comparing, someone that's doing a more exotic beach trip, but you put them on like a Regent Seven Seas, a small ship cruise, the experience they're going to have when they're already really like, they'll even promote themselves as like a hotel backed kind of, I forget how they word it, and it's lost me now, but like it's the quality of a hotel or a resort staff is what they're getting on these cruise lines. They're going to have such a great experience, and the commission is huge on these. So again, thinking about what makes sense for you and what makes sense for your business, and also just thinking of the transition of your clients, because eventually people burn out on any trip they've done a bunch. They're always going to want to do something next. And if you're delivering exceptional customer experiences, like we were talking about before, you should be checking in with your clients when they're right after they come back. Okay, what's the next trip? Oh, what are you thinking about for next year? Having ideas for them going forward. So you're always progressing your business as well as them, and you're pointing them in the direction that makes sense for you and your business. Okay. So how are we strategizing for maximum impact, right? So we talked about what profit drivers could be. It's, different commissions from different suppliers. It's booking different kinds of trips, right? It's knowing your unique value propositions. But one of the things you should do to make sure you're strategizing correctly for your business is evaluating your own sales trends. Now, if you're newer, this is more difficult because you don't know what last year looked like for yourself. But anyone that's been in it at least a year, can take this moment, but even if you're only 6 months, you could take this moment and see exactly what you have booked and what you are making money on. Because sometimes people will say that back to me, like, I don't even know what I make money on. I know I made this here. To say you as a business owner, and I know statistically this is a really difficult thing for travel agency owners to do. It was actually proven during the pandemic years that that was one of the biggest struggles. People didn't even know where their money was or where it was coming from. That's a problem. If you need to take a minute, we're going to get into more financial planning later in this series, but you need to take a minute and look at what you've sold, what suppliers you've sold, who you made the most money on. And this is a simple, if you have a CRM system, you should be able to kind of print this out. But even if you don't, you can kind of go back and just look and see the general commission made on each booking, what supplier you booked it with, and kind of break this down. This is going to take you a minute. I'm not going to lie to you. But this is a great time to do it. Times are a little slower right now. It's right before busy season's about to get back up. And what's great to see in this is taking that moment to step out of your business to work on your business. It's very difficult to do that, but it's very important to do that. If you don't work on your business, you're going to stir yourself into a tizzy and you're never going to get any further. When you take that couple minutes or a couple hours or whatever it is to step out and work on it, you're going to see insane growth in your business because you've evaluated exactly what is working, what's not working. So one, you're going to be able to increase your profitability because you're going to see what is your big money makers, right? You're going to see, oh, I made a ton of money on my Virgin Voyages cruises. Why am I booking this one over Virgin? Or I made so much money booking, I don't know, these Globus stores. I'm just making up suppliers, of course, but I'm just saying, like, you're going to be able to see where you made the money, where you didn't make the money, what hotel partners treated you well, what supplier partners treated you well. And then again, you can identify your growth opportunities. So you can see, okay, this worked really well at this time of year. So you'll see that, like, I got into seasonal patterns. What did I book? What kind of trips was I booking during busy season? What kind of trips were I booking directly after busy season? So you know how to plan for next year, what to be prepared for in your marketing strategies, what to be prepared for as far as what you should be training yourself on. I didn't know enough about this last year, I need to learn more for next year and be prepared to sell the crap out of this. And then again, you can improve your forecast tremendously by doing this at least, I would say do it every 6 months, but even if you do it once a year, you can see exactly where your trends were, where you went up, when you went down, when you were selling, when you weren't, and what you were selling during those time periods. And then, like I already mentioned, optimizing your marketing according to this. So if you put out a good marketing strategy, and we talked about this last week, but you get the good technologies where you're pumping out socials, you're not even thinking about it, you're planning this during your off season, and you're putting up the right marketing for the time of the year last year where you were selling a ton of Europe and you already have that plan in place, you're only going to increase your Europe numbers. Same thing with cruising. You're just booking cruises left and right during wave season. Make sure you have it amped up and ready in your marketing strategy to already have cruise deals ready to go. You just have to plug and play the numbers in. Like, think of these things ahead of time and know which ones you made money on. So if you know you made more money in a certain cruise line supplier than another, make sure you're pumping out that marketing and crafting your client base to understand what's a good product that treats you well and treats them well as well. Don't put it out there if they're a crummy supplier partner, but you make money on them. That's not going to benefit you in the long haul. People are going to be mad. They're going to come back. They're going to complain. But make sure it makes sense. Putting out the right things to your clients. Other effective strategies. Talked about technology a little. I'll probably talk about technology till I'm blue in the face in this series. Upgrading your technologies. Making sure you're using proper technology to, one, take this time to self-evaluate, right? If you don't currently have a CRM system, think about getting one. See if your consortium or host agency you're a part of has one that you could take advantage of if you're not currently using one or are paying for one and don't want to pay for one. Are you using all the right capabilities on it? Are you automating things within your CRM system? Upgrades to your technology and making sure your CRM system is a good product for you is insanely important. Also using automated systems or even if it's AI technologies to be writing emails so you can get that out quicker to your clients, or writing marketing, like marketing campaigns for yourself when you're building out this calendar. So incredibly important. Make sure you're taking the time with technologies, making sure your email systems are accurate. Like I said, your CRM system, making sure your website makes sense. If you are trying to attract clients to be only booking FITs or booking river cruises and you don't have a single comment about river cruises on your website currently, your brand doesn't match. It's not syncing. People aren't going to make the connection for you. So you want to make sure you're doing that and make sure you're taking that minute to evaluate your website and making sure it makes sense with what you're putting out on your socials and to your emails and all those good things. Improve your customer experiences. Like I said, self-evaluation, business valuation. This is a really great time to see what you did last year for your customers, what worked, what didn't work, and what you could be doing better. I say this with my team all the time: what worked, what didn't work, what can I improve on, right? So what were some customer experiences that you planned for your clients that they loved, that you heard all about, that you keep hearing about, that you're getting referrals about? What were ones that did not go well, even though you thought it was going to be great? What ones could have been better? What could you have added on for that, 2-week cruise for somebody that would have made it the ultimate experience? What could you have told them more? What could you have recommended more? Could you have learned more about that destination? This is a great time to take a moment to look at those trips that didn't go so well and see what you could have done better, and see the ones that did go well and see how you can improve upon it. And then form strategic supplier partnerships. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. I was part of the supplier side of the business. I couldn't tell you, sometimes I was losing my mind trying to get agency owners to have conversations with me because I just wanted to help them. I promise you, your supplier partners, I've met with them even now from this space. They just want to be in front of you. They just want to help you. They just want to try and help grow your business. So if you have gone back and evaluated your business and said, oh, Virgin's really fantastic for me, or Alma Waterways is just, they're the one I want to go with. I'm making great money with them. They treat my clients well. Build a relationship with your business development manager. Get on their email list. Go to their local trainings. Sit on their live sessions like this. You're already showing you want to build yourself and be on these sessions. Take that minute to get to know those vendors. If they're not doing anything like that, reach out to them. Say, hey, am I missing something? Can we have a minute where we can go through a training? Can you help me with these things? Nothing made me happier when I was a business development manager, and then when I was running a team of business development managers, when I would get emails from agency owners and they say, I'd love to learn more about your company. I promise you, people on a sales team want to talk. We want to talk about what we have to say. And so give them the opportunity to do so. Also, you can build a lot of these supplier partnerships if you're going to your local ASTA events, if you're going to your local community events. There's a lot of great travel agent groups right now that are building their own little communities all over the country in different regional areas. Get in those groups, get to know your agency owners around you. We're less competition and more of a team anymore, so get to know those people. So you can learn a lot and grow a lot within the partnerships you can build in those groups. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I keep saying that, but be a part of your local ASTA chapter. There's some really incredible ASTA chapters out there. If it's not as incredible as you want it to be, become a part of it and make it better, because ASTA is, they say this all the time at their events, but it's true. ASTA is your voice as a travel advisor, with government decisions and things that go on in the world, and you want to make sure you're a part of everything. ASTA is the reason that everything just happened with American Airlines. So just you always, get to know those areas and make sure making sure you're taking advantage of all the opportunities that come your way. If you're in an area that's more remote, it's more difficult. There are tons of virtual opportunities, and just making sure you're getting on the list with your business development managers is going to help grow your business substantially. And then optimizing your online presence. Again, we've talked about socials a bit on some past sessions. I'll talk about this. Making sure your brand reflects what you want to be selling on your social media, and then making sure you're accurately putting out as much information as you should and can be putting out, and making sure you have a cohesive message from there to your website and what you're putting out to your customers. Okay. There is a ton of incredible resources that you can search where it'll tell you how often you should post on each different type of social channel you're using. I'll even admit I am not as with it as I should be with TikTok, but if you're in it and you're on it, I am seeing people see insane growth using TikTok as a profit driver. They are just on there answering questions about cruising and naturally getting cruise bookings. They are on there answering questions about things you just know about and growing their business. I don't know enough about it. I won't pretend like I do, but I can see it happening. Grow your online presence. Be visible. I can't tell you how many times I'll have agency owners that I'm working with, and I'll go and I'll look and they have no online presence. And they're like, I can't get any leads. I was like, well, because nobody knows about you. Nobody even knows you exist, and no one's gonna be able to find you on the internet. The more you post on your socials, the more you're able to pull into an SEO on the internet and into the Google searches, and more people are gonna be able to find you locally. The less active you are, people don't know you exist. And we are in a world where there aren't as many brick and mortar locations. You have to make yourself as visible as you can. And social media is an incredible free marketing opportunity for you and your business. Make sure you're utilizing it, especially when so many incredible supplier partners and the ones that are, giving you the most growth, the most commissions are going to be able to give you opportunities to post on your socials. Take advantage of these things. I know it takes time. I know you're like, I can't do this. It's too much. I know. But again, go back to habits, talk about scheduling out some time where you're taking some time to work on your business, not in it, is going to see dramatic differences in the way that you're growing your business, dramatic differences in the amount of money you're bringing in month to month. It's going to take you from that one goal to the next goal. It's going to take you past that threshold. You have to work on it, not just in it. Okay. So adaptation and continuous assessment. Who am I, right? So just things to be thinking about when you're taking this assessment of yourself and when you're adapting your business to be more profit driven, right? Make sure you're thinking of consumer behavior. What are people asking about? So if there is a popular trendy thing that's going on and you're not on board with it, you're missing out on money. It's just plain and simple. If you weren't booking Italy last year, you were missing out on money. If you're not booking Greece this year or whatever, you were missing out on money. Everybody was in those destinations. If you're not booking cruises, you're missing out on money right now. I'm sorry. And some people don't listen. I don't love cruising, but I'll tell you right now, if I was still booking, I'd be booking a ton of it because people are cruising left and right. I know somebody that's on a 3-week cruise right now. This is a person that never cruised before. They never used to like to cruise. They're on a 3-week cruise. You have to think about these things. You have to. Also, it sounds silly. What's on TV? This will consistently be a thing wherever the housewives are traveling to, wherever Bachelor in Paradise is that year, wherever anywhere else, wherever they're traveling to, people are interested and want to go to, and there's always substantial growth in those areas. Same with movies. If there's a popular movie and they're in a specific destination, that destination is going to surge. So if you're not paying attention to what's surging, you're losing out on profit for your business. And are they booking a la carte? Is it last minute deals? Like just paying attention to these things. Also, be aware of economic fluctuations, right? So recession is a real thing, inflation, cost of living changes. Make sure you're adapting to your customers. Just because of these things happening doesn't mean people don't want to travel. They just want to travel differently. So making sure you're keeping value in mind for these customers and you're talking about value more than you're talking about price. Nothing scares a client way more than just talking about the price. I know it's a lot, but that they're already uncomfortable. Sell the value, tell the story, build the world for them. Building the world around the trip you're selling to your client, they are going to buy it most of the time because they're excited about the trip. They see themselves drinking the drink on the beach. They see themselves riding the rides. They see themselves on the Eiffel Tower. They see themselves in Australia, like doing the things, going to the Sydney Opera House. You have to build the world for them. Also, just keep in mind exchange rates and things just for people that are being more cautious when they're spending. You could build this incredible trip for somebody, and then you put them somewhere where that's astronomical to get an order of French fries, like in Macau, and they were not prepared for it. They're going to be very upset with you because you didn't have a correct conversation with them. That's not great customer experience, and it's not going to drive any profitability to you. And of course, never forget about global health concerns. Just keep these things in mind as you're booking new destinations and building out your portfolio. Don't forget to be aware of health advisories and warnings, vaccine requirements, and health infrastructure. I put this on there very particularly because people forget that not everywhere is America, even us as advisors, and not everyone cares as much as we do about certain health requirements and needs and things for like handicap requirements. So just keep all these things in mind. Okay. So, and also I just want to talk really quick. I skipped over it, I didn't get to, but I just want to talk about the benefit of repeat customers and what that does for your profitability, which probably would make it probably seems like common sense, but I think it's important to touch on. One, building a repeat clientele, not booking just new people all the time. It makes your sales process easier from minute one because you already know them, you know who they travel with, you have all their information. It's a quick, easy book. You know what they like, you know what they didn't like last time, you know what they're where are the places they like to eat, you know if they're a foodie or not, you know if they like to be adventurous, you know all the things ahead of time. It makes this all so much easier. You could say, I know what you like, you don't want this. I know that you're going to prefer this because it's more fun, whatever it may be. And they also trust you. So when you're having these conversations about switching from one hotel to another, one, because you're making more commission on it, or two, because the supplier treats you better, they're going to believe that they're going to have a better experience there because you've already built trust with them. If you're just selling them a hotel because they're making more money and it's not a better product, you've lost their trust. You're never going to get more money from them. But the profitability on having more repeat clients than not, you're never going to stress about making more money because they're always going to trust you more and build more and do more. I know travel advisors that don't take new clients. They don't need to, which is crazy, but they don't need to because they build such a strong repeat client base and their profits just keep going up. They're not going down, they're getting better. So, okay. So important things to remember. Be sure to deeply understand your specific profit drivers. Don't take what I just said in the beginning of this class and go, well, that's what Laura said. These are your profit drivers. I need to look at them. You know, when you take that step back from your business, what your specific profit drivers are, right? You know what drives your business. If what drives your business is 3-night cruises from Miami, then please bless, like, you know, is what makes you money. I know that's probably not likely because I know the commission's not high on those, but you know what I'm saying. So you know where you've made money before, you know where you consistently do well with commissions, or if you don't, this is when you take that time to assess it. Take that step back, look at where you made higher commissions and compare products if you have that time. If you know you booked a Hyatt all-inclusive property at one supplier and a Hyatt all-inclusive property with another supplier, see where you made more money with it. Make sure it makes sense. Like, that's the way you're going to be able to do these things. So make sure you're deeply understanding your specific profit drivers. Make sure you are, like, I'd say I use fancy words, you know what I mean? Employ strategic maximization. Make sure you're making the most of innovating ideas, thinking outside the box, using proper marketing, getting to know your supplier partners better, and making better operational efficiencies. This is kind of a repetitive section, but there's some new stuff in a second. Just making sure you're paying attention to these things, making sure that you're not just doing the same thing over and over again and thinking you're going to get a different result, because you're not going to. If you don't take that minute to look at your business and know what's making sense for you to build it out, you're never going to get anywhere. You're just going to keep booking the same things and booking the same hotels, and then you're going to get frustrated when something changes there and it's not the same because you never took the time to grow outside of it. You never turned the time to learn something new. And that's going to be really difficult to get past. Embrace flexibility and adaptability. This is relevant to what I just said. As you're branching out and as you're seeing what could make you more profit, if you are an FIT booker and you know nothing about river cruises, it's going to take a minute to understand the process of booking a river cruise and what they need and what they don't need and what your client was going to like and not like about it if you haven't taken that time. Be flexible, be willing to adapt to different, you know, if you're used to certain hotels or a wholesaler that you're booking with, and there's another one that pays more commission, it's going to be a learning curve to learn this new system, but you're going to make more money. Don't get stuck in the habit. I can't tell you how many times I hear it. I won't mention the supplier specifically, but there's a specific wholesaler everyone goes, oh, I just do it because it's all I've ever known. And it is the most difficult system to use that I've ever used in my life. And people are like, oh, it's all I've ever known. Everything's on there. It's all I've ever known. Learn new things. Be willing to get outside the box to build your business bigger. You're going to be so much happier that you did. You're going to be so much happier that you took the 5 minutes to learn that other wholesaler system to earn the extra 3% commission. Because 3% commission when you're booking a 5-star hotel for 7 nights is a whole lot more money. Just saying. Focus on sustainable growth. You're not going to be able to go from booking 3-night Miami cruises to chartering river cruises in 6 months. It's just not going to happen. And if it does, good for you. I'm so happy for you. You need to take growth needs to make sense. You need to do it in small doses, and you need to do it by evaluating your business. If you see, you know, I booked that one river cruise, I made a ton of money on it, and it took 10 other trips to make the amount of money I made on that one. What do I have to do to shift my business forward? So maybe that's for this coming quarter, I want to book 2 more, or the year I want to book 10 more. make sure it makes sense what you're doing. Don't assume you're going to be able to take over your whole business with all those profitable bookings and you're never going to have to worry about working that cheap old trip again. That's not true. It's not realistic. You're not going to be able to do that. No one could do that. I'm not trying to pretend that you're going to have, I'm not pretending I have the fantastic success model. What I'm telling you is taking actionable steps and trying to make that this growth make sense for your business is what's going to make you profitable. If you just think it's going to be an easy, quick release thing, it's never going to happen. You have to, one, take a minute to look what made sense for you. Plan out how much of that you need to add into your business currently to be more profitable. Ooh, did you see that? I thought my bag was a person. Um, and to see what steps you need, see how much you need to make. And that might be like, I want to build 20% growth for my business. What does 20% growth look like in commissions? And is that 20% growth 5 river cruises or is it 30 all-inclusive trips? Is that growth, you know, 5 Regent small ship cruises or is it 1 million weekend trips? Like it's just seeing, and then you go, oh, this is going to be so much more work. So how do I attract the clients? What changes do I have to make to my business on the daily to attract the clients to be getting in the business that I want to be getting? Okay. So again, but make sure it makes sense. Make sure, and if any of you, want help kind of breaking this apart, I'm happy to do this with any of you and kind of sitting and looking at your current business and saying, what can I be breaking down and breaking apart for myself to make this more sustainable? I love numbers. I can sit in numbers all day long. And you can really look on a much more granular level on the day-to-day or the week-to-week, what you should be booking to make this kind of growth. Leverage insights for action. So these are some big sentences. There's a lot of words on here, but what's really is the point is the way you're going to transform your business is with actionable strategies. It's what I was just talking about. You need to sit down and write it out. You need to take that hour a week to work on your business and go, okay, I need these 2 different bookings to change. I need to change 10% of my clients to a more profitable booking for me that makes more sense. That's less work for me. Because then the less work you have, the more open you are to learn other things and grow your business further. And then regularly reviewing and refining your approach is incredibly important. Again, taking that step out, self-assessment, looking at yourself, looking at your business, looking at your IC's employees. Are they doing this for themselves? Because that's another way you're going to see substantial growth is making sure they're booking the right properties. Make sure you're telling them about the right supplier partners that they're going to be booking more money on. If you're doing all the right things, and if you're listening to this whole time, you're like, girl, I'm doing that. I don't know what you're talking about. But your ICs are not, and they don't even know the other options, you're losing out on thousands of dollars because they aren't booking the correct products. They're booking whatever's easier and they don't know what's outside there for them. And then just what I think is very important, especially for yourself, but incredibly so if you have a team, is setting key performance metrics, KPIs for yourself, even if it's just to keep yourself in track, to know where you're standing, even if you're not hitting it, if you're not even near hitting it, but having that space to look 30, 60, 90 days, what's going to get you to that goal, what's going to get you to that growth, being able to see it makes it so much more attainable. And I forget the statistic, I think it's 42%. I talked about it. You are 42% more likely to achieve a goal if you write it down. So if you're writing down your goals and your number goals and what you need to be hitting, you're focusing on it consistently and you're more likely to hit it. So writing down, setting goals for yourself is incredibly important. If you just are not setting goals and you're just hoping it's going to work out, it's never going to work. I shouldn't say it's never. It's more than likely not going to work out because your focus isn't in the right place. So take that minute to look at, and if you're unsure of what to set for a goal, it's always the easiest thing to do is look at your current sales and say, okay, 10% growth would be a budget move forward, right? Because then with 10% extra, I know I can make different things. And my stretch goal is 20%. It's an easy number to figure out, and you can sit down and you can adjust that goal for what makes sense for you once you kind of get into it. But it's an easy 10% year over year, but 20% is my stretch goal. I want to try and hit 20% growth every year. 20% growth is going to do a whole ton of things, not only for your business, but also what you can invest back into your business, how you can grow your technologies and your systems you're using. There's so many things you can do with 20% growth, but 10% growth is an incredible step in the right direction. But if you aren't setting those goals for yourself, you're just hoping that you make more. If you're not taking a minute to look at your business, you're just praying it works out. never taking a minute to evaluate what your current systems are and what you could be doing to grow them. And you can do it with easy spreadsheets where you just pop everything in there. If you have a CRM system, it's even easier. And if you need a minute or need someone to help with it, I'm telling you, I'd be so incredibly happy to help and offer any insight. This is just a quote I like. Growth is never by mere chance. It is the result of forces working together, which I think ties into what I just said. And you cannot just assume you're going to grow because things are going well. Things could drop off so quickly. So you have to make sure you have a plan in place. You have to have a plan in place for your down seasons, for your slow seasons. Growth is not necessarily easy at first. You can make it easy, but you have to take those steps. You can't assume just because, well, I'm posting the posts on social and I'm booking the trips and I would assume I'm sending out the referrals. Why isn't it working? Are you attracting the right clientele? Are you putting everything out there? Are you putting those extra steps in? There's so many things you could be doing to making sure it's coming back in and making sure you're putting out profitable suppliers and wholesalers that are going to bring you back the money back into your business so you can grow your business. And that's just and I'm going to pop this up there. If I know I offered out my services and more than willing to help. If you ever wanted to email me, get to know me, or have questions for me a little bit more, please email me. It's ldevega@worldvia.com. If you have any questions right now, please ask it. I really love that these topics are kind of cohesively going in line. And you're going to see there's another kind of financial based topic next week that'll get more into kind of how to dive into this a bit more. And then there's going to be a short break for a few weeks, just a heads up, because I'm doing a bit of traveling, and then we'll come back. And again, it's all going to tie in. So at the end of this, if you go back from the beginning and watch from beginning to end, you're really just going to be able to see the exact steps on how to build your business, how to elevate your business to a better place. So if you jumped in tonight and you're like, well, I don't even know how to get to setting the right goals for this, go back to goals, watch habits, get yourself in the mindset, watch the growth mindset one, put yourself in the place that you are ready to step forward to move out of your comfort zone to kind of start building your business. And then now this is the step in evaluating what's making you money, what's going to take you over the line, what you be doing differently to help make that change in your business so you're making more money, so you're becoming more profitable, so you're just an overall better business. I know this was a more serious topic in a sense, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I will stay on here for a bit if anyone has any questions or want to talk about things. Oop, I'm sliding my side all over the place. I'm really thankful for you joining me tonight. I know sometimes it's a little late for some people. It might be a little earlier in the Central and West Coast, but I'm really thankful for your time and for listening. And anything you need at all, questions. Oh, and make sure to pop in the Facebook group where I post a lot of information in there. All the past episodes are in there where you can learn. We're starting to post them on YouTube as well. If that's easier for you, you can search them. And we're just going to try and grow the best business that you can for yourselves. I want to see successful agencies out there. I'm so proud to be part of an industry that we're not selling boring stuff, right? We're taking people on their dream trips. So let's keep building this industry and making it grow to levels that never could be before. And you can do that by growing yourself and growing your business first. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. I hope you enjoyed the content tonight. I hope you'll enjoy what's coming up. Here, I'll stop sharing my screen for a second. I just want to look and see what we have coming up in the next few weeks, just to give you an idea. If any of it excites you. If not, you are free to hop off if you wanted to. But yeah, coming up, so we have financial navigations. We're going to talk about like long-term goals and financial statements and how to grasp those and like what 18-month goals can look like for you and your business. And then when we come back from the short break, we're going to talk about building a community of loyalty within your business, whether that be through your customers or your team. And then we're going to talk about charting your course. And I'm going to talk more about that marketing plan that I keep saying to put in place. We're going to do a whole session just on building your marketing plan out, what your marketing calendar can look like. We're going to talk about navigating turbulence and like what bad leadership for even yourself or your team can look like. We're going to get into proper training and how to organize your training for ICs and employees, but also for yourself. We're going to talk about leading through change and how disruptions in the industry can really affect your business and how to kind of get out of those. Same with strategic. We're going to get into strategic business planning. We're going to talk about embracing delegation and networking and building partnerships, and it's on and on forever and ever. but those are the coming weeks that are coming up. You'll see a lot more information about it and posts about the event. I will stay in here for a bit. I don't have any questions at the moment, but if not, you are free to hop off. Thank you so much for your time. It was really lovely talking to you all this week, and I hope you learned something from it. I hope you have some points to move forward with it with your business. And if you don't and you still have questions, please feel free to email me or reach out or ask a question in the Facebook group. So I'll hang out for another minute or two, but if I don't hear from you, I guess I will see you soon. You're welcome, Amber. Thank you so much for stopping in. I hope you come by again. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Oh, thank you so much. I love doing this. I really enjoy taking this time. I hope you're enjoying it because I want to keep doing it. I think, the topics will vary, but I really enjoy the conversation. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Hope you have some good weather. Hope you're traveling. All the good things. All right, it doesn't appear there's any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this. But thank you again, everyone. And I hope to see you next week. And I can't wait for more conversation and more topics. And listen, happy booking. Let's get out there. Let's book some more profitable trips. Let's make some money. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much and have a great evening. Oh, I do see a question. Oh, I'm so glad this was helpful. I just saw that in there. Thank you. I don't know. I see S star. I don't know if that's your first name or not, but thank you so much. Please keep coming back. I'm so happy to be here with everybody. So, all right, I'm going to let this go. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week.